Hello future CA, welcome back to my channel again. So if you are preparing for the CA Inter Audit subject, then this video is extremely important for you. So the ICAI has recently conducted the fortnight program for audit, and in this session some very practical and important points were covered for this subject. So in this video I am going to give you a complete and practical summary of the session. So guys, if you are targeting 70 plus in audit, then make sure you watch this video till the end. Also, if any of you are new to my channel, please subscribe for more CA exam related videos, tips and guidance. So I have prepared a last 4.5 day revision planner for the CA Inter Advanced Accounting. This is for September 26 exam. And the planner starts from 28th of August. So in the planner from 28th August to 31st August, I have covered the whole day. And for the 1st of September, the planner covers the first half of the day, because the exam is in the second half. So in this planner, I have given slots for revising each chapter and each unit. And there are also separate slots for revising RTP, MTP, previous exam paper, Annexure and Schedule 3 of the Companies Act. So if you want a structured and stress-free revision planner, the link is in the description and the pinned comments below. Do check it out. So before discussing the strategy, first the question paper pattern. So this is for 100 marks and it's a 3-hour paper. And 70 marks is descriptive and 30 marks is MCQ. So the MCQ will be largely based on case scenario. So that means simply memorizing provision will not be enough. So it's important to develop conceptual understanding and the ability to analyze a situation. And also in MCQ there is no negative marking. So don't leave any MCQ unanswered. And also in MCQ all the questions are compulsory. So attempt all the MCQs. And also for practicing MCQ, you can go through the case scenario booklet. In that numerous MCQs are given. So you can practice from that. So another important point discussed in the session was that in the audit, questions will be of two types. So first is the direct application question. So in this you will have to apply the auditing standards or the concept directly. So for example, you may be given a question relating to external confirmation and you will be asked to identify the relevant essay. So this will be the direct application question. Then the second type of question is judgment based. That is application based or the case scenario based. For example, a question may involve going concern or subsequent events where you have to analyze the circumstance and arrive at a conclusion regarding the auditor's report or opinion. So just by memorizing the name and number of essay, you cannot prepare for audit. You have to understand what is the requirement, where does it apply, how you can apply to the facts given in the question. And this will help you to understand the case scenario based question. So for direct application based question, you can answer in paragraphs or relevant points with headings. And for application based question, you have to first write the facts of the case. Then you have to write the relevant provisions or the essay name, number and the provisions of the essay. And then you have to correlate the facts with the relevant provisions. And then you have to arrive at the appropriate conclusion. So in the question, whatever decision they are asking you to make, based on that you have to write the conclusion. So in case scenario based descriptive question, it is very important to write the conclusion part. So another common problem which was faced by the students in the previous attempt is, usually students understand the answer but they cannot remember the language. So for this it was suggested that you need not memorize everything mechanically. So what you have to do is you have to identify the important keywords. So for example, if an answer contains 5 important points, identify the keywords for each point and then practice reconstructing the explanation around those keywords. So you have to try to remember those keywords. So keywords act as a memory trigger. So once the keyword comes to your mind, the explanation becomes easier to write in the exam. So for example, instead of simply writing auditor will check the bills and records, you should use appropriate audit terminology and procedure. So you have to use professional word, that is professional auditing word is preferable rather than general expression. So when you're preparing for audit, pay attention to the language in the study material. So some of the auditing words which you can use is, instead of writing checking bills and records, you can write vouching, supporting documentation, audit assertion, procedure and so on. So for each of the topics, highlight the keywords in your study material. So the next important point discussed was how to remember the essay numbers and name. So if you quote the essay numbers and name in the descriptive answer, it will be good because this will create a good impression in the mind of the examiner and you can get marks for this step also. So what you can do is create a essay number and name chart. Create a sheet which contains the important essay numbers and name and keep it somewhere visible near your study desk. So for each of the essay, you can also create a flow chart or a mind map. So try to keep this chart in your visual environment so that the more frequently you come across them, you can remember it better. So you don't have to force yourself to memorize all of this in one sitting. You can keep this chart in front of you and keep looking at it every now and then. Next, some common mistakes were covered in the webinar. So mistake number 1 is only reading. So one of the common mistake in audit preparation is just reading the study material again and again without written practice. So sometimes you might feel, I have read the chapter 2 to 3 times, so I know it. But when you sit down to write the answer, you might struggle. Because reading is passive, whereas writing is active. Therefore, after studying an answer, close the book and try to write it and practice. So this is where active recall becomes important. This step is called active recall method. Next commonly committed error noticed was not using professional language. So as mentioned earlier, audit has its own professional vocabulary. So most of the times it was noticed that students know the concept well, but they use generic language in the exam. So as mentioned earlier, you should use audit vocabulary. For each of the topic, highlight important points, key terms in your study material. So you should learn to express the relevant audit procedure using appropriate professional terminology. Because when you use these keywords will make your answer to look much more professional. So now commonly committed error number 3, thinking one reading is enough. So another major mistake is expecting yourself to remember an answer permanently after reading it once. So this doesn't work. Even after understanding a concept, you need repeated exposure. That is, you have to read the concept, then close the book and try to recall it. Then write it, and after few days again come back and recall it. So this process gradually transfers the information into the long-term memory. So in this session it was emphasized that remembering an answer does not happen only through one single reading. You have to keep revising it again and recalling it again. Then mistake number 4, studying audit once and then leaving it. So this is especially dangerous for theory subjects like audit. So sometimes it was noticed that students study auditing continuously for 15-20 days and then completely go to the next subject and ignore auditing for 1 or 2 months. And when they come back to audit later on, they feel like they have studied but don't remember anything. So therefore, audit needs to continuously remain in your study cycle. So even when you are preparing for other subjects, keep revisiting audit through active recall, keywords, the essay number and name chart, short revisions and question practice. So the objective here is to stay connected with the subject. So next 1.5 day revision strategy was given. So this revision strategy you can follow 1.5 day before the exam. So this is a very important strategy. So before the audit exam, you should be able to revise the complete syllabus within approximately the 1.5 day. So that means you cannot leave any chapter entirely untouched. So all the chapters should remain in your memory. For this, your final revision should focus on the keywords, important keywords which you have highlighted in your study material, important definitions, important provision, essay numbers and name, and the other difficult areas and the question which you have marked previously, case scenarios, and also previously when you are studying, if you have made any like error log or notebook, you can go through that also. So try to go through all the chapters even in your final phase of revision. Finally, there was an important mindset message shared in the webinar. So don't study auditing thinking that I just need 40 marks. Instead, tell yourself, I want to prepare the subject properly, understand the concepts, practice the question, improve your writing, revise repeatedly, strengthen your weak areas. If you do that consistently, your marks will follow. So don't run behind the marks. Build your preparation so strongly that the marks start following you. So guys, this was the complete summary of the CA Inter Audit BOS Fortnightly webinar session. So I hope this session has given you a clear roadmap on how you should approach audit in these last final days. So if you found this video helpful, ensure you like the video and share it with your CA Inter friends and subscribe to the channel for more CA exam related updates, strategies and guidance. And remember, the procedure to be followed for auditing subject is understand, then recall, write, revise and repeat. So do this consistently and your target of scoring 70 plus in audit will become much more easier and achievable. So all the best for your upcoming exam. Keep studying, keep revising and most importantly, keep believing in yourself. I'll see you all in the next video.